Boom, hello, and welcome to the Protector Nation podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to making the world a better place, making the world a safer place by making good people dangerous. In this podcast, we're going to study and understand what it takes to protect your family, to protect your loved ones, because we all know that you have a few basic needs, food, water, and shelter, but you also have the need to protect those things. In a world and society where evil runs rampant and is sometimes left unchecked, learning how to protect yourselves and your loved ones is becoming more and more important. And so we strive to raise the level of accountability to those who would do evil on this planet by making sure that the sheep, that the flock, is more well-versed in protecting themselves and their loved ones. If that sounds interesting to you, then sit back and enjoy the show out. Boom, here comes Mike Shaw up.
There we go. Holy crap, I got it. Can you hear me?
Yo, I got you, bro. It looks
all
like
right.
you get boom. Well, we are live, bro. Everyone's there. Everybody's in the chat box. Daniel Cameron, hey, good to see you, man. Wow. So we got a number of people. I think we have a few dozen folks that are going to be hanging with us for this episode. This is exciting, you know. It's I've never done a podcast like this before. I do webinars and stuff on this software. It's pretty sweet, but this is going to be a first, man. So I'm excited. How you holding up, brother? How you been out there?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thankfully, Pennsylvania is open for the most part. So,
yeah.
Not like New Jersey and New York and other places where it's like almost completely closed down still.
Yeah, that's an issue, man. Real quick. Where's everybody from here in the chat column? Just put your, city, state, where y'all from, man. I just want to see what our reach is like on this.
I got, let's see, I got San Francisco here. I got Frank Andres from Houston, someone from Australia.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
Cape Town, South Africa. Okay, we're all over the place. I like it.
Yeah, this is awesome,
man.
Good stuff. That's the technology, man. That connectivity. That's awesome. So basically, me and Mike have been trying to do this episode for a minute. I apologize.
It's his fault. I just want to put that out there.
It really is my fault, man. I've been just blindingly busy, and you've been totally cool and just flowing with me on just, yeah, dude, we'll do it whenever you're ready, basically, which has been good, man. But just to open this up, why don't you let everyone know a little bit about yourself, and then I'll get into all the questions and all that stuff.
All right. Well, if a lot of you might not know me, my name's Mike. I was a police officer for 10 years in Pennsylvania. I did a little bit of everything from vice, like undercover narcotics work for a few years, and the county drug task force. I went to one of the biggest cities in PA to work that department in 2013, and then I left 4 months ago. So I kind of, I wanted to start my own venture. I kind of feel in my heart that I deserve a lot better and deserve more, and just want a little bit more out of life. So kind of, started my own business venture, and I built my social media on training and motivating people, and just talking about real stuff, man. Whether it's like, I try to encompass a little bit everything, whether it's in politics, fitness, shooting, law enforcement stuff, family stuff, a little bit everything. So I try to use it to help, to help people if I can, motivate them, get off their ass and work out or go shoot or what, just in general, just better yourself,
Heck yeah, man. And that's the main reason why I was like, yeah, we for sure need to do something, because I saw the crossover, dude. Like, it seems like we're two dudes who are just like, we're the guys in the ring, but we're the guys who are just trying to influence people to just get their potential out, man. Like, do the best you can with what you have and make something out of that trash, make something out of it. So yeah, man, that was the main thing. I was like, all right, sweet. Me and this dude can definitely do some stuff. But I'll never forget when I first met you online, dude. Yeah, I think I posted some video and you were like, is this guy better than Voda? And I was like, I was so angry. I was like, yo, I'm going to pop a shot back over the bow and see if he's cool or if he's like dedicated to trying to put me in that box. with that man. God bless Voda wherever he is. Just saying, we different.
If you guys don't know who Voda is, he was this. I don't even know if he's still around, but he was like, he put out a lot of like really, really bad content when it comes to firearms training, and I mean, it was like bad, unsafe, like unsafe, like. If you just think of like what not to do, that was him. He was teaching people like the most unsafe, unrealistic, just nonsense. Like one thing I can say, guys, like when it comes to especially like weapons training, please vet your instructor, because there are so many instructors that are teaching bullshit. And if you don't know any better, you're like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is great, and then you go do it, and then you shoot yourself or shoot, fire a round into your wall or at your friend's face or something. It's like, please vet your instructors, for Christ's sake.
Yes, man, because and I remember hearing something about some of the students having issues like that, and there was all kinds of stuff, and I remember, because I had somebody, he joins one of my groups at some point in time, and some of my guys were like, you need to look into this dude, and I was like, and then they said, I was like, you guys just hating? Are you guys hating? So and I looked him up, and I was like,
pretty bad. One of the worst things I've ever seen him post was he had this video on traffic stops, and what he was teaching people is he would take his gun and put it right on top of his dashboard in front of his steering wheel. And like the people would come up and he was like, okay, here's what you want to do. When the cop is coming up, you want to take your gun, unload it, and put it here. No, that's how you get shot in the face. You just, this is good.
Exactly.
Hold your steering wheel, roll your window down. Good evening, officer. Exactly. How can I help you? I need your license, registration, insurance. Wait until the officer request the information. Don't, we call it furtive movements. Okay. Right. If you're reaching for something and I'm seeing these furtive movements and I can articulate, well, okay, I think this guy might be reaching for a weapon or something. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, man. Like set a baseline of behavior first. Like, yeah, we're cool. You're cool. I'm chill. You're chill. Okay.
We all get pulled over. It happens. I like the speed. It's not a big deal. Like, every time I ever got pulled over, I roll my window down and I sit there and wait for the officer to make contact. He's the boss, man. He's in charge, You walk up, you tell, what do you need? You tell me what you need. You know what I mean? I'm here to stay safe. I'm here to make sure he's comfortable. And it's all 99% of the time, it's all good, man. You probably won't even get a ticket.
Yeah, and you just treat him like a cool dude.
That's it. Except for a trooper. Don't make sure you call a trooper. Don't call him officer. They hate that.
Okay.
I don't know what it is.
Like the Army Marines.
They hate that. Yeah, they hate that. Like I've even had some like, you mean trooper? Yes, trooper. You got it.
Okay.
You got it, man.
Yeah, you got it exactly. So you were saying you walked away from the law enforcement career 10 years to go into business for yourself. So what kind of businesses do we kick off?
So I started e-commerce. It's gun accessories. If ammo ever becomes readily available again anytime soon, I have no idea. It's gonna, I'll be selling some ammo, and then I do some apparel too.
Sweet, man.
So, and then off of that, one of the things that we wanted to do was I want to have like a training section on my website where, I can, if anyone, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced, whatever you are, you can go on there in the training section and you can see, okay, there's these training companies and they're all going to be vetted. So let's say Cogworks, SOA Rescue, Courses of Action, Kawa, Knockout Lights, all these guys who offer really, really great training. I want a section where they can find these companies that are all vetted, and they can go to their website. Oh, hey, there's training in Texas. I'm out in Texas, or whatever. And then the other thing I wanted to do was have under that training section, little like tutorial videos or tips, tactics, stuff like that. Starting from beginner, intermediate to advanced tactics. So if someone has no idea, they just bought a gun, they don't have any training around them. all right, here's a video I could watch on how to safely disassemble my weapon and clean it and put it back together. Just really basic stuff, and then leading up to, you know, people who are more advanced. So that's something that I wanted to do with the site, but that's going to take a little bit of time to get all that stuff together. But it's a work in progress.
Heck yeah, man. That's what's up. Do you have a background in marketing or like e-commerce or anything like that?
I didn't.
Stuff working. I'm like, oh, this dude.
Yeah, so I'm self-taught, man. I taught myself how to do everything. Yeah. I didn't go to school for it. As I started to build my social media, I started an apparel company like 5 years ago. And I was like, I didn't even really like Instagram. I almost never posted. I wasn't really into it. Yeah. I was kind of like that cop who just, you know, oh, I got to be, you know, like a ghost. I can't post anything or have people know what I do or who I am. So I was like, all right, I started this apparel company, and I was like, all right, I guess I kind of have to figure it out. So I taught myself how to build a website. I learned photography, videography, how to edit everything, you know, some of the, you know, the back end coding. I don't do any of that, but, you know, like building e-commerce platforms, I can do that. I mean, I pretty much taught myself how to do everything. I taught myself how to do Photoshop, make logos, and then how to do targeted ads through Facebook and Instagram. There's a million different ways, but how do you take your platform and target it towards the audience that you want in the most efficient way? Because what they really want is they really want you to pay. They want a lot of money for these targeted ads. So trying to figure out how to get the most out of, let's say you do $500 for an ad, it's going to tell you exactly how many people you can reach with that. And then you can, you can kind of change around the age range, the genders, keywords, and you can figure out how to target very specific people and reach them. So I just taught myself. So I didn't have a background in it. I didn't really know anything about it.
Sweet.
Just taught myself.
Yeah, dude. And the reason I bring that up is, and we'll put all your links up at the end too, for sure, because some of the folks are asking for it. I see your question, Ruko. It's because I think there's so much to be said for like, all right, you have your career, you know, like I have my career as executive protection agent, but like I've been working on social media marketing and all the things you're talking about for like a decade, you know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot, because I kind of my brand and what I like to do is try to bring power back to the agent, try to bring back power back to the guy who's just working the beat. It's like, you should have a side hustle. You don't need to, like this path isn't for everyone, but if you got something inside you that you want to bring to bear in this world, I want to encourage people that have that entrepreneurial energy, like have a side hustle. Like executive protection security is amazing to me. It's been amazing to me, but I've had a side hustle the whole time, you know what I'm saying? And it's made all the difference, you know? So look, especially, and it brings you power. Like maybe you're in a department you don't like, maybe you're on a detail you don't like. Whatever it is, one day if you work that side hustle, because overnight success only takes about 10 years, you know what I'm saying? You work that side hustle, and at first you'll be doing it because you love it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But eventually you can create something, and I'm not like a burn the boats, you got to go all in like this guy. I'm a guerrilla warfare guy. It's like, nah, you work your side hustle while you have your main, thing, but work that side hustle. Don't discredit it. Realize in the beginning you don't really know what you're talking about, and it's probably not going to be successful for a while, and get after it until you become smart enough by failing enough and learning enough to really execute on it at a high enough level for the world to want to reciprocate that value. Yeah. I
couldn't agree more about the side hustle. I totally agree. And especially, now, like I've connected with Andy Frisella, owner of First Form, for the last couple of years now. Yeah. And I started listening to his podcast, and like we just kind of connected, started following each other. And, he gives, if you never listen to that podcast, you need to listen to it. This guy spent years and years and years. And, he basically started out with his own supplement shop, and he slept on a couch. They had no money. They had nothing. And now he's worth $300-400 million, and he has multiple. He's doing all right. Yeah, he's doing pretty good, I think. He's doing all right. And that's something that he talks about. Is like when he started he didn't have anyone helping him and teaching him. It was literally door to door, old school shit. Now, okay, I have my phone. I can go and connect with people and companies, figure out marketing. I can I have this I have everything I could possibly want to do right here. And as much as as much as I dislike social media sometimes because it can get really aggravating. There's so much false information that gets spread around. There's a lot of people on social media that you can't trust, and you have to be careful because the people that you surround yourself with in your personal life and in social media could totally ruin your business. So you have to be very, very, very careful of who, if I have my brand and I run my Ink-Monsterr page like a business, if I network with the wrong person and that person, let's say he just ruined relationships with a couple companies by doing something stupid. He's connected to me. That looks bad. It's not a good look. So, but yeah, I mean, have a side hustle, man. Like I'm involved in like 4 or 5 different things right now. There's a big law enforcement training company that wants to hire me to help them do their marketing, their photography, run their social media. I have another company that wants to hire me for like outside sales, a massive tactical distribution company. So like I'm trying to, I want to get in a little bit of everything. I don't want to just do this one thing and I wake up and I go to work and I do the same shit over and over and over. Like, yes, if you enjoy it, it does get repetitive. So, I mean, if you like to help people, use your social media for something. You see so much nonsense on social media. Like, use it to your advantage. Teach people how to work out. Find clients to train. If you really have the skills and knowledge to teach people firearms, start your own training company. Like I've been asked to do that. I don't believe that. I think I'm a more advanced shooter in tactics and everything, but I don't think I'm like Knockout Lights and Kawa and all these other dudes. So I can't justify charging people money until I'm at a certain level to where I want. But if you have those skill sets, use it. Teach people. Use your social media to do a side hustle. Do some training once a month, or whatever you can, man. Absolutely, couldn't agree more with that.
Yeah, man. It's a force multiplier. It gives you options, makes you more valuable to everybody. You run into some friction inside certain groups that might not like that you're doing things outside, but hey, par for the course. Let's see. Oh, we got a question here. Let's see, Ryan. Question for Mike: what advice would you give to someone who is in process of becoming an officer in a culture that is becoming extremely anti-police? And what do you think about private security taking a major role in place of security-funded police? In place of city-funded police. So we might not even get to the questions. Okay.
So, I mean, the advice that I would give to someone that's in the process, this job is extremely difficult. It's always had pressure from the outside, from politics, and it's kind of seeping in a little bit more in the last couple of years. I mean, I've worked through Ferguson, and every time something happens, like George Floyd, it just implodes basically. Policing is political. It just is. It always will be. You have pressure from politicians that go to the mayor, it goes to the chief, and then it trickles down through patrol, and that's just the way it is. The advice that I would give to you is really, really think hard if it's something that you want to do. I would find busy cities and do some ride-alongs. I don't know where you're at, but find the busiest town near you and do some ride-alongs from like a 7 to 3 shift. That's usually the busiest. You get a little bit of middles, a little bit of night shift, and then see firsthand like if it's something you really want to do. The job's getting harder. Cops are getting arrested for doing their job. Even things that are protected by Supreme Court case law, still getting arrested, and it's hard. So really do some ride-alongs, do some research, really think about if it's what you want to do. As far as security taking over policing in cities, I think it's absurd. You know, whether it's what do they want, like social workers, like psychologists, like, no, you cannot do the job of a police officer, period. Okay. There are times where, hey, maybe security added with police would help. Sure. Right. Deterrence and stuff like that. But security or all these other professions, you know, that they want mental health and all these other people to come in, I think it's probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. Like, hey, you want to go to a physical domestic with this guy who just beat the living shit out of his wife and tried to kill her? Okay, go ahead. See how fast that lasts. I mean, you know, they don't care when we show up and, you know, we're trained and armed and, you know, we can use force, and people still don't care. They still shoot at you and fight you and try to kill you. People don't care.
I think, and we'll talk about this more when he comes, man. The police officers exist because societies need them. Yeah, thanks, Mike. Police officers exist because societies need someone to do that function. So I see the private security might be able to take over certain specific functions with regards to maintaining order, but I would really hesitate to put my guys in a position, or my teams, or myself in a position. Yeah, we got you back. To have to deal.
My internet went out.
Yeah. Anyways, finish your point, and then I'll get to it. Looks like it went back out. Anyways, I would really hesitate to put a private security professional in a position to do a police officer's job, because the reality is all you are is a new police officer. So if the fundamental issue is that people don't respect authority and don't respect police officers, what makes you think you're going to be able to walk in there plain clothes or with a cool new uniform and get the same job done when they've been studying and trying to do these functions for hundreds of years, decades, you know? And there's whole departments devoted to trying to do it well. So I do think with the decline of a number of things in law enforcement, it'll make room for private security to take over more functions, especially functions where maybe departments don't want to do things. But I do think that we need to support our law enforcement officers to be able to do a better job where they're at with what they got. And I think there's a lot to be said for that, for sure, you know, because I've heard a few people talk about how they can do better, and we want to have a force that. So yeah, man, that's kind of the way I think about that, man. And also with regards to joining law enforcement too, I'll keep harping on this question, right? Is times of trouble. Oh, I think he's back.
My bad, guys.
Nah, it's all good, dude. It's, you know, the first run, that Wi-Fi sneak up on you. Okay, sweetie said absolutely great answer. Yeah, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that question, brother?
The last thing before my internet kicked off was you were talking about security in reference to your guys. I think there's a major difference in security to professionals like you guys. Massive difference, okay? If we're talking if we're talking someone like, you know, like the caliber of you and your guys, I would absolutely say yes. Police and professionals like you guys could certainly, you know, combine forces and help restore order. Yes. Now, you know, just regular security, no. You know, I would say absolutely not. But yes, the people of your caliber would certainly be helpful, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah. No, and one of the things I was addressing is we're trained in a very narrow, like we're trained to do security. My primary mission is to either restore order or, depending on the venue or what I'm doing, or get my client out.
Yeah.
I just want to get my client out. Like, I just want to get my client out. You guys can shoot at each other, you know, do whatever you want to do. Like we're off the X. Peace, not my problem, you know. So there might be some openings for private security to expand, especially with regards to maybe some higher quality guard services.
Yeah.
But overall, I was saying, like, I wouldn't want to task my guys necessarily with doing the job of a law enforcement officer, because you guys have to do so many more things.
Yeah.
And there's so much. It's such a big holistic ball of things you guys have to do. And then on top of that, if the problem is a systemic issue, I think in our society where they don't respect a badge or authority, they're going to treat us the same way. You know, we're just a new badge. We're just new authority who's instantly taking on all the biases that they already have.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what I was getting into. And then I was descending into also saying, you know, I think now is a time to go on with what you said. Yeah, you got to make sure you know why you're going to do what you're going to do. It's like joining the Marine Corps during a time of war. It's like, you sure about this? Are you really sure about this? Because it's going to be tested. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Be really sure about it. Maybe there's some valor in joining during a bad time. Like you joined during a time of war. It's like, hey, you know, you were here because you wanted to be, and you get your stripes. You know, you get to say you were there during Ferguson and you were there during, you know, the other things. And like maybe you joined during a bad time and you come up during a bad time. And maybe that ends up being to your honor in the end, you know. But you better know why you're there. Yeah. That's kind of how my brain works, man. With that. So yeah, man. No, that's good. You guys feel free to pop off those questions, and we'll answer them as they come. What is the? I guess I'd ask you, who are you at your core, brother? Mike.
I'm just a dude who wants the most out of life that I could possibly get. You know, build the best relationships with my family and my friends, and you know, make connections with just good people and just do some awesome shit and get old. You know, I want to do. I just really want to do as much as I possibly can, whether it's business success, and you know, success to me is not just like, okay, we're making a ton of money, that's cool, but success could be, how are the relationships with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones? You know, are they good? Or do they suck? Yeah. I mean, you could have a lot of money, but if you have, you know, really bad relationships with everyone around you, that's not success. So, you know, at the core, I'm just a good dude who wants to do, you know, help others and you know, just kind of enjoy this ride before I get old, you know?
No, I dig it, man. That's good. You want to live your life to the fullest. Heck yeah. No, that's good. What is What does the Ink-Monsterr stand for? Where'd that come from?
Pretty much tattoos. You know, kind of like.
What's the angle? I'm like, I'm like, it's got to be the ink, bro.
So when I did it, like, I was thinking, like, because every variation of Mike Shaw is taken. Mike.Shaw _ Michael Shaw. Every, and I even messaged the guy who owns Mike Shaw. And I was like, hey, I'll even buy the page from you. And he's got like 100 followers. And he was like, he's like, nah, I like it. I'm good. I was like, oh my God, this guy's got 100 followers. And he's got like 15 posts about his food. I'm like, oh my God. So I was like, there's no way that's happening. So I was like, well, tattoos is a part of me, something I like. And I was like, beast mode kind of, you know, workout. I was like, Monster. I was like, whatever, Ink-Monsterr. Who cares? So it worked, I guess.
Yeah, no, it did.
I'd still like to change it. I still try to change it. I went on that Mike Shaw guy's page a few weeks ago, and I was like, I don't know, man. I should message him again. Maybe offer him like $100 or something.
Just test him real quick. Yeah. No, I had the same thing happen with me on YouTube, man. And there's like a Byron Rodgers, and he's got Byron Rodgers. And so now and
he's probably got like no subscribers or anything. I'm like, come on. Man.
It's like 25 subscribers, and it's like a picture of a video of his foot and like a frog. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, because you know, I wanted to change it because I want to brand me. I want to brand my name. But I mean, I don't even know if I change it at this point because everyone likes it. Everyone knows me as Ink. So I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see here. We got another question. Hey, Byron, I'm looking into executive protection like yourself. I'm from Arizona. I have 20 years in law enforcement. Plus, I was deployed overseas, worked private defense security contract company 9 years Embassy, Iraq. Any advice on how I can get into working protection stateside? Good question. I see this question a lot. I guess I'll just go ahead and hit it here right now. The cool thing is now you can make the same type of money you were making overseas. You can make it here, which people don't know about that in the EP industry. Now it's a way easier to get in. There are a number of big companies you can apply to, but there's a good amount of competition. So obviously apply to all your companies in your area. The other back way in, and I talk about all this in my Executive Protection Training Day Success Package as part of the league. I do follow-on training with everyone to make sure they get what they want out of the industry. Every single week I do a live Zoom call or a meeting like this with everyone. But training, the whole entire game of success is about widening your sphere of influences and relationships, just like Mike was just talking about relationships. That's really the way in. So yeah, apply to all the different companies in your area, but learn how to set your Instagram up so that it is very marketable, specifically for what you want. Learn how to set your resume up so that all those skills transfer over and you can present yourself correctly. You can have all the awesome high-level special forces skills in the world. If you can't present it correctly, you'll look like a knuckle dragger who will not make it in a number of different corporate environments and a number of different environments in executive protection that can get your resume put at the bottom of the pile. The third thing is go to trainings in your area with executive protection professionals and network heavy at those trainings. Contribute and don't just be like, oh, look how cool I am. I'm the best shooter. I'm the best, most tactical, coolest dude here. But like serve your class at that training. Bring water for everyone one of the days. Do things to make the class look good because that's what makes people organically want to work with you. Get yourself a business card, whether you have a business or not. Set up your digital contact card on your phone. So when you do make contact with people, you can send them a quick contact card. They have your face in there the way you want it in there, your name in there, your links, your email. So there's just a few little small things to help you start to realize how to really market yourself. And in my course, in that Executive Protection Training Day package, I really talk about how, which Mike just threw that link up, thanks, how to brand yourself. Essentially what you need to do is you need to rebrand yourself. And there's just some things that you need to make sure that you're really sensitive to when you're doing that with regards to being able to fit into corporate America and add brand equity to clients that are in like kind of today's American society. So I hope that answered your question, James. Feel free to let me know if you want more to the left or to the right, brother. But heck yeah, great question. I'm digging this like live question format, man. You got anything on that?
I'm going to throw one more thing in there for him. There's a website called Silent Professionals. Check out that website. I have a couple friends that, were like, one was like Army Ranger, whatever, they were, a couple badasses. They just like disappear and do contracting, EP work, like randomly. So this website, it has all kinds of different, it's silentprofessionals.com. It'll list all kinds of jobs stateside, and all, whether it's executive protection, contracting. It also has stuff overseas, in Mexico, all kinds of stuff. And I mean, they're making good money. Like some of them are, $500 a day, $1,000 a day, all expenses paid. Like check that website out. It's something I was even looking into. It'll be a little bit easier for you because you have the military background. So, but yeah, dude, get on that website and you can pick up gigs here and there. Like Byron said, network with people. Use that as an opportunity to just make any connection that you possibly can. Yeah,
Ryan says it's a legit source too.
Yeah.
So we'll for sure add that link in at the end of the webinar. And then there's a lot to be said for digitally learning how to digitally market yourself with all these different groups that are out there. Digitally getting your LinkedIn sphere of influences effectively expanded, not just like friend requesting everybody. So that's a good one, man. There's a few sites now that also that are doing that where you can build a profile and stuff like that. Maybe I'll look into them and get them on this episode. So,
LinkedIn is probably one of the best
or join the league.
Platforms that you can use. I mean, There's recruiters for every possible company you can imagine, especially like contracting companies and EP companies.
Yeah.
Triple Canopy. Well, Constellus owns Triple Canopy and some other ones. But almost every one of them, just search up the company, hit people, and then look for the recruiters. Look for the recruiters that, it'll say, it'll give them their job title, exact like threat protection. Like it'll give exactly who they are and what they do.
Yeah, no, it's solid, man. LinkedIn is the country club. It's your new resume. It just is. It's your new resume. And then the reality of the game is you fuse that with on-ground tactics, and you're going to start finding opportunity straight up. What would you say the climate was like? So, let me know if that – hopefully we answer your question, James. And or join the League of Executive Protection Specialists. We have a network. The network starts working for you. It's dope. Shameless plug, right? What was the climate like for you, dude, when you were inside of law enforcement?
Oh man! All right. So anyone even thinking about law enforcement, and if you're in it, you already know. I love that saying. Right. If you know, you know, because I just love it. It's hard to explain. Like for you were in the military, deployed. It's hard to explain how that experience was.
It's like when they're like, what's combat like?
What's it like to be on the street as a cop and almost have to kill somebody? Like, oh, it's great. Like the climate in law enforcement, especially right now, is cover your ass, do the bare minimum and go home because cops are getting jammed up left and right. So I can't even blame them.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of fell into that. I picked it up probably like 6 months before I left. I started to pick it up and just hammer it and fucking make arrests and get into stuff. But you fall into that. I started hungry. I was hungry. And I was making arrests.
Everybody does, man.
I was hungry, man, and I was making arrest, which got me on the drug task force, doing all the cool guy shit, right? And then I kind of peaked and then kind of tapered, and then I kind of went back up, and then you kind of just float, go up and down. But the climate is just cops are afraid to do their job because they don't want to get arrested. They don't want to end up in the news and have their life ruined. I mean, God forbid you do your job, you end up in the news. That's it. That's it for you. You're going to have people protesting outside your house. You can't go anywhere in the country without someone, fucking with you because you're the guy that shot this person, even though it was justified. So the climate in policing is pretty bad. Guys are afraid to do their job. It causes them to hesitate. They're going to get hurt more because of it, or which is going to cause someone else to get hurt because of their hesitation. I've seen videos of, there was a big one that was going around a few months ago where a guy had a knife and two cops show up and they were backing up. I mean, they must have backed up.
Ran backwards.
It felt like it was literally solid 3 minutes. They backed up down this road, right?
Yeah.
The cop finally shoots the guy after he charges him with a knife, right? Trying to stab him. The guy falls. Unlike the movies where you blast someone and they go flying and they're dead. It doesn't happen, okay? Multiple shots don't necessarily take a subject down. So the guy falls, then he gets back up. The cop still doesn't shoot him again. He goes after his partner, gets his partner in almost like a rear naked choke and fucking starts slashing him from behind. And the cop ended up having a clear shot to shoot him. But because of their hesitation, his partner almost got murdered, that's the climate of policing right now. That kind of explains it. Man. Cops are scared to do their job, and I can't blame them. But listen, that hesitation is going to get you killed or someone else. So do your fucking job, or it's time to go. Find something else to do.
Yeah, man. No, I couldn't agree more. I remember the climate in the Marine Corps being like that when I was overseas the second time, because there was that whole we were just having an issue with, there was the whole thing about the prisons, and they were stacking bodies and doing all that stuff, and there were some shootings. I think the Editha massacre had happened recently, and they were just on us, man. And everyone was hesitating, and it got guys killed, you know. And we had the most ridiculous rules of engagement, and then there's that feeling of, dude, if I do my job, is my chain of command going to have my back? Like,
and it's literally the same in law enforcement.
Yeah.
Most of your command is not going to have your back. They pretend to.
No, they're going to burn you.
They pretend to, but they will fucking burn you. You'll be
a leper.
If it's the chief of police, or let's say your sergeant. I mean, we had 3 or 4 sergeants working on a platoon plus a lieutenant in charge of one platoon, right? So if it's your sergeants and your lieutenant, or you, and then the chief is going to have to answer for your use of force. If you have to kill somebody, or, if you discharge your weapon, or even if it's hands-on and you seriously injure or kill somebody, your chief is going to have to answer that. And if it's a peon or a chief, it's going to be you that gets clipped. That's the way it is.
You're going to be a leper.
Yeah, they're not going to have your back. That's just the way it is.
100%. I've seen it a million times. Every once in a while, you get a good leader, but they're few and far between.
Oh yeah,
you got to protect them when you get them.
And that's the issue with politicians, like not just politicians, but let's just say politics across the board at every level, local, state, federal, that trickle into the police department, and it comes down from the governor, the mayor, and then the chiefs get it. There's too many politics in law enforcement. It should be a complete separation of power. The mayor should not have any authority over the police departments, period. It should be the chief of police. That's it. And then he structures his command from there. When a politician has authority over a police department, that's when things just start going downhill from there. They should have absolutely no power and authority in police departments at all.
I couldn't agree more, because it's a conflict of interest.
Yes, yes, and a lot of mayors and governors use their police as basically their own personal security, and to do whatever they want. We had issues where there's things that I disagreed with that came down from the mayor to the chief to us, and I disagreed with it. And I'm sorry, man. I'm not some new guy. I'm gonna buck back if I truly disagree with it. And we did things that I didn't agree with, and I would express that I'm not doing this. I disagree. I think this is absurd, and the mayor should have no business telling us how to run a police department.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's like when civilians get in charge of our security details, man. It just turns into
goodness,
mayhem. No idea. Well, because at the end of the day, the client's in charge, so then the client is just like, you guys should do this. I saw it in a movie one time with Whitney Houston. And you're like, seriously? And you're like,
movies are probably one of the worst things that people could do. Like, you watch these movies and I wouldn't even call it an argument, but you'd be on the scene of something and someone's like, well, I don't understand why you can't, dust for prints, or like, these people think I'm just going to come with some magic little piece of equipment, pull a fingerprint off of a dusty piece of wood, and arrest the person in the next 5 minutes. I'm like, it doesn't work like that. Like,
it's not going to happen that way.
And I would try. I would go the extra mile. Like, there would be times where, I would literally be dusting for prints, on a car, even if it was a partial print. We'd take a photo. We'd have crime scene come out, take a picture of the print, and, hey, they'd run it through the system. If they find something, they find something. But I would try, but, people have unrealistic expectations sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, 100%. It's like they want a police officer, a hostage negotiator, a social worker, a detective, all rolled up into one person. Speaking of that, what would you say about the training you guys are getting? Do you feel like it's adequate?
No.
To do the job out there?
No.
No?
Training in police departments is horrific. And I'm not going to say every single one of them, because there are very few, but most that just do a terrible job. A terrible job. And, a police officer wears every hat you can imagine. He's a social worker. He's a a mental health professional. He's a this. He's a that. And you're expected to go out, and it's actually pretty amazing how well police officers do when you think about the statistics of how terrible the training is and how well police actually do. So you have upwards of 385-ish million contacts between police and citizens every year. That's everything from a cop stops to help you change your tire. They show up on a medical call, you get arrested, whatever, right? Out of that, there's around 12 million.
300 million with an M.
Around 385 million police citizen contacts. Million, right?
There should be a lot more drama, man.
Across the board.
Sometimes I feel like maybe people didn't get their cameras out because there should be a lot more drama. If my guys were having that many contacts, I'd be like.
So out of that, nationwide, you have around 12 million charges filed out of almost 400 million police contacts. Now, out of that, there's around 40-ish thousand cops that are assaulted. And there's 1,000 or less that are killed by police. I mean, when you think about it, police do a fucking amazing job with the bare, and when I say bare minimum training, I mean bare minimum training.
Bare bones
training. And they do that good of a job. It's pretty amazing. You know, like
it's decision making.
To give you guys an example of how bad the training is, we would qualify in the spring and the fall firearms, right? Spring and fall qual. Twice a year. That's it. Defensive tactics, now that's handcuffing, anything basically hands-on, right? How many hours do you think a year? Take a guess.
A year? This is this should almost be a weekly kind of.
A year. Take a guess. How many hours a year for something cops do every day?
I mean, it's I can't even. I mean, at least 2 training days, like 64 hours a year.
4 hours, guys.
Golly.
I'm not exaggerating. We would have 4 hours a year on defensive tactics.
So this is why, essentially, I mean, in my opinion, a lot of the officers I know that are legit dudes, they just train on their own, man.
Yes.
Like, we just see them out there at the shooting competitions. We just see them at the gym. They're just like, dude.
It
comes down to that whole thing. It's like, it's got to be more than just a job. It's got to be a lifestyle.
It has to be. Listen, guys, if you are in law enforcement or even executive protection,
holding a gun
like Byron, if you're in any type of realm of protection and law enforcement, whatever, you're not going to get training. You're an anomaly. Okay, I'm gonna say you and your guys, you train. You're an anomaly. Let's just say
trying to change that. We're trying.
Let's say law enforcement specifically. We know and we complain all the time how dangerous the job is and how tough it is, and you don't understand. You never did the job. That's true. However, what are you doing on your own to make sure you're trained? And this is one thing that I got a lot of negative feedback from cops that were upset that I would talk about it. But listen, you could go to your job right now, get on the road, and you get fucking killed. The job is dangerous.
Yeah, like every day it's a blank check.
Every day you have no idea. It's a blank check. You go to work. You know, there were times where, because we responded to everything, I'd be picking up an old lady off the floor, helping her up onto her chair, and then a call comes in for a shooting. And now I got to go respond. I got to turn on, nice guy and go into full-on fucking warrior mode, ready to have a gunfight. And if you don't train, you suck. Yeah. Okay, you're not going to be efficient at your job.
Suck.
You're not going to be a good. You're not good backup. Okay, think about it like this. And one thing I always tried to think about. what kind of cop, if your wife, your daughter, your whatever, someone you truly, truly care about, if they called police right now, total emergency, fucking shots are being fired, they're at the mall, or someone's breaking in their house, whatever, would you want you to show up or another guy that you work with that actually has their shit together? Think about it like that.
Yeah.
If you can't, I mean, for real, hold yourself accountable. If you can't honestly say, I would want to be the one to show up because I got this, you need to get your shit together and start training. That's it. Fitness.
And we say the same thing. I'm like,
everything.
All of it. No, I say the same thing, man. It's. Would you want you protecting your family, your daughter, your wife while you're away at work? Like this is the question. You know, the question you have to ask yourself, and it is. It's fitness. It's firearms. And it's soft skills, man. It's decision making. It's social dynamics. It's all these different things, and
it's a little bit of everything.
It has to be a lifestyle.
And I have people that ask me all the time, like, okay, how do you? And it's easier now because I could pretty much make my own schedule, which is awesome. But I get a lot of questions. Well, how did you balance law enforcement, family, and training? So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't go into the gym or to the range or whatever with a plan, you already screwed yourself. Have a plan. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym. Let's say it's Monday. I'm going to train a little bit of chest. I'm going to do some jump rope, hit the heavy bag. I'm out. And, a gym is a great place to market. Like, I've met some really cool people at the gym. But if you're really restricted on time, don't talk to me. Got to work out. And seriously, just stick to it. Have a plan for every single day. Block out even 45 minutes to an hour. You don't need, 2-3 hours at the gym. If you go to the range, have a plan. Okay, today I'm going to work drawing from concealment, right? Today I'm going to work movement.
Yeah. Looks like we lost some. Yo, I see some questions over here in the question column. Jordan, I am EPTD. Loving it so far. Adding to someone's question from your experience, what type of person is more appealing to clients and companies, regular civilian or those with former military law enforcement background, exclusion, skill set that you teach? I would say, hey, bro, hitting a few of these questions.
I keep getting phone calls, so it shuts me out.
It like shuts the whole game down. All right, let me answer Jordan's question real quick because now I'm into it. Let's say when it comes to advantages for getting hired as an executive protection professional, law enforcement background does help. Military does help. Civilian background with training also is good. In my opinion, it depends on how you present yourself. So it's there's military and law enforcement all throughout the industry. There is that, and there is that code, and there's that brotherhood, and there is that. But, when you look at your Elijah Shaws, Christian West, Jared Van Dries, there's people at the top of the industry who also are just pure civilians. So if you have a hiring manager that's been in the game for a while, that law enforcement officers come with their own issues. Like the cups maybe it's not half empty sometimes. Sometimes they're like, oh, this is easy because I was a cop and that was hard and this should be easy. And you got to teach them stuff. Military guys come with the whole like they're just so harsh and rough around the edges, especially Marines. We got to literally, and then they get bored and then they want to leave because they're bored. And they're like, this is stupid because they're bored. You know what I mean? So you have to deal with all these, this kind of inner psychic friction, cognitive dissonance that comes with both of these professions. And then with the civilians, they have something to prove. So they're like, yo, I haven't done this before, so I'm going to get all the training I can, and I'm going to do the best job I can, which is what I see out of civilians a lot. So it depends on your hiring manager, but don't think for 1 second that because you don't have law enforcement or military in your background that it's a totally negative thing, because a lot of professionals I talk to think the same way I do. Military guys are awesome as long as they can manage that internal space. Law enforcement officers, amazing as long as they can manage that internal space. Civilians, same thing as long as they can manage that. Because the downside of the civilian is that they have an inferiority complex and they want to try and prove something all the time. and want to prove that they're better than everyone, and then that gets exhausting. So it really comes down to how you market yourself and those other things. Let's see me knock another one of these out. Someone's asking me, Lonnie Byron says you don't need experience, but does it help to have experience because I have none? Listen, you definitely need to have good training to get into the industry. You definitely need to invest in yourself. Don't come into this thing blind thinking you're going to be just perfectly fine. But you can transition into executive protection from college, from being a barista, from being a cook, as long as you invest in yourself and get the proper training. And in fact, a number of those other sales-oriented industries and service-related industries, what they do is they help you learn how to serve the client. So actually, it is great training for learning how to be an executive protection agent, because that's one of the biggest things that us meat eaters deal with is going from driving to that firefight or freaking clearing houses and trash in another country, back to coming here, and then a client's like, yo, why is my coffee not here at this exact time at this exact temperature? And then you're sitting there like, this dude's serious, man. This dude's sitting this how it is now, so that's what I would say about that, man. Make sure you're investing in yourself. You need training, but now that the industry is so big and there's so many major companies, you can get away without having to have so much prior experience. I like a fresh guy because I can train him the way I want him to be. Let's see. What are you guys' thoughts on contract service for threat analysis, penetration testing, safety and security reviews? Kevin, sophisticated question. I think that's an emerging market that is extremely important. And I wish, honestly, more civilians really would leverage all that stuff, the penetration testing and all of the more digital security assets that exist in the private security industry, because they're being targeted. I wish that more like upper middle class people, since that they're largely being targeted, they can't afford security, but they still have enough assets to maybe drop a 50 to 100K in someone else's bank account if they get taken advantage of the right way. I really wish we'd see a lot more of that stuff being rolled out in the civilian market, and I'd love to try to bring that actually to the civilian market a lot more. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents on that. Do you have anything to add on that?
I agree. I think there's a huge market for civilians to do a lot of different things that they just don't do. I guess people think that there's such big companies out there that why should they take the risk? Like if you have that kind of knowledge and experience, don't be afraid to take the risk and do it, guys, because that kind 100%. Of stuff is absolutely needed. Absolutely needed.
And it's like the biggest payoff in the world when you execute on it and you create a new reality by creating a new product. It's like the most amazing thing in the universe. In fact, a little secret, when I first started doing executive protection, I didn't even really like it that much. I was like, I got to do more than this. And then it wasn't until I started having success in my other businesses, and then my executive protection career was feeding my ability to do those other businesses, then I really started to be like, this is really important that I do good in this. This is feeding all the other things. And then I really started to dig in and really apply myself, because, I came literally straight from Iraq into Bentleys and Rodeo Drive and private jets and hotels and things. And I was like an animal. I was like, I'm glad I made it. I'm just glad I made it by the grace of God. Thank God for people taking me under their wing, man. Good relationships, really. Okay. And sometimes it isn't glamorous. Yeah, sometimes it's really not glamorous. Let's see here. Next question for you, brother. What would you say about race relations and policing? Like, did you have any issues? What is your approach? What are your thoughts on it? You know what I'm saying? We don't get to hear from law enforcement people.
You're always going to run into issues with race. I don't think, no matter what we do, those issues will ever go away. Humans, I think, will be humans forever till we're extinct. I think that there's a lot of things that we could do in the law enforcement community that could improve it. that they just don't, manpower issues. And I don't know, maybe they just don't really care to have, community programs. I think a big issue with law enforcement is things that are negative are incentivized, right? So making an arrest, writing people tickets, which I hated, by the way. You know how many speeding tickets I wrote in 10 years?
Really? You got away with 0? That was literally my
Zero.
biggest friction
Zero.
point. I was like, there was like, why wouldn't you become a cop? I'm like, I just don't know if I can
Zero.
ever bring myself to write a ticket for someone speeding.
Can't make me do it. You can't make me do it.
You know what happened next day? Slow down. I'd be like, I don't know.
this is I'm this guy. Hey, Shaw, you wrote 2 traffic citations last month. You gotta get some better numbers. How many exactly? How many? How many would you like me to write a month, sir? Oh well, I can't. I can't. Oh, I know you can't. So shut up.
But
so
that's the way I would note it.
Point being is all the negative things are incentivized, right? It's not incentivized for me to go out and hang out with the community and just build relationships with them. The negative things are incentivized. Making an arrest, even if it's bullshit, which sometimes they are, and there's people that get arrested when they don't need to. And that could be whether it's a non-traffic citation or an actual arrest where they have to go, get booked and everything. Writing citations for traffic stuff, that's all incentivized. They get grant money, they get funding, all the bosses love it. How come it's not incentivized for me to go hang out in the worst part of my city like I did and give skateboards to kids like I did and just hang out and just build relationships with them? Because guess what? When we have a murder, guess who?
It's about the only way you're going to hear anything.
guess who they came to talk to?
Yeah.
Me. Hey, Shaw. Here's what I saw. And these are people that they take that no snitching shit serious.
Oh yeah.
It's in my opinion, the negative things are incentivized too often, and all of these other like community programs, all these things that cops could be doing are not. It's just not. I don't understand why.
Yeah, that's a good perspective. I haven't heard that.
I don't understand why it's like. Well, I can understand from a funding part, but why is let's say the state or the federal government gives grant funding for whatever, right? Well,
community time.
Yeah, why don't they give grant funding for, hey, I want to go out and just, with a few cops and just fucking build relationships with my community? Why don't they have, incentives for that and funding for that instead of me making mass arrests and mass citations? It's just, just the way it is. So, and enforcement is such a small portion of the job. And I think that cops forget that sometimes because, we want to run and gun. That's what we call it, right? We want the action. We want the fun shit. We want to go, we want to run into buildings and kick doors in and whoa, blah, 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 blah. All that cool shit. Well, yeah, that's fun, but that's not all of what the job is about. Enforcement is a very, very small portion. And I think that's where we're really messing up. We're focusing too much on the arrests and the citations, and we kind of let all of the other productive things go, like community policing and, just get out of your car and go talk to someone in your community. Because think about how often you see a cop. Do you interact with him? No, he's just driving by. There's really no interaction between the public and the police. That's another issue.
Dang, man. Because I think what would happen is at first you would get out of the car and people would be like, oh my gosh, the cops are here.
Oh yeah, dude.
And then the second you just say, yo, what's up, man? What you doing?
Dude,
and just start hanging out.
The first time I did it,
they'd probably be like, "Oh my gosh! Oh wait, we're just kicking it. Like that can happen."
the first time I did it, and I didn't even post about it because there's a lot of things that I do and did that I just never posted about because not everything requires you to post about it, right?
Right.
So me and a couple friends who are local business owners, we bought all school supplies, backpacks, markers, all kind. I mean, there was probably 200 backpacks filled with notepads and pens and crayons and all this shit, right?
Heck yeah.
So
It's awesome.
I didn't post it. I didn't have anything to do with. I mean, I did it at work, but I just kind of did it on my own and didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
I went to literally one of the worst streets in the entire city, and I parked. I got out, and this is in the summer. Like, it was probably around August, and everyone's like, what does this cop want? And, I just went up. I started chatting with people on their porch, and I said, hey, if you guys know any kids that need school supplies, I have boxes and boxes of them in my patrol car. And they were like, wait, what? You're giving them away for free? I was like, absolutely. So I probably had kids for, 3-4 blocks running up to my car. There's little kids like hugging me. Like, I think that when you just treat someone like a human, that's really all they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just want that.
Far.
They want that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And
Respect, connection, relationships, man. Just like good business, it's relationships.
That's it.
Everything comes down to stinking relationships, man. And if we could focus on the relationships, I think also we could do a much better job, dude. Like 100%. That's how you fix a lot of things, man. Even with all the messaging going on today, it's like, oh yeah, they make people feel like if they're like Republican or Democrat, they're like different gangs.
Yeah.
But then like if you guys ever square up and like actually talk about it respectfully, it's like, oh, we actually agree on like 90% of everything.
Yeah.
But like one or two hardcore issues. But it's like, it's like rooting for different teams in a football game. It's like, doesn't mean we have to like fight to the death.
Yeah.
It's like the humanity is maintained. Cool, man. So what would you say is the hardest lesson you've learned? In that field, man?
Oh my God. I think the hardest lesson is probably being unprepared.
Okay.
Like for some of those in here earlier that have said they were in the process or interested in law enforcement.
Yeah.
When you go to get hired and you get interviewed, they talk their department up. Great, it's the greatest thing in the world, greatest show on earth. You're not prepared mentally for all of the things that are going to come your way. And that's probably the biggest lesson I learned over time. And it really takes a long time, unfortunately, to see that.
Right.
But yeah, that's the biggest lesson is I wasn't prepared. I was like, oh, this is the greatest. And you're not ready for the mental aspect of it, the politics seeping into it, being treated the way that you do, because when you get hired, it's great, and it's all fun.
Phase.
So yeah, it's all good. Departments, they don't tell you the truth when they hire you, and they do a really bad job at, and not just preparing you physically and training, but preparing you mentally, and making sure that each year, hey, my officer is good mentally. It's just, you're kind of on your own. You get hired, you have to do a couple qualifications, and you kind of have to navigate your own way
Figure it
through.
out.
It's and that's where, I don't know how many times we're gonna hit on it. Relationships. You make the right relationships, and people are gonna help guide you. Like if you guys have any questions, man, DM me. I'll try to help you best I can. And if I don't know, I'll direct you to someone who does. I have no problem telling you that I don't know. I don't know everything.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. Awesome. What would you say would be your proudest moments in the field? Proudest moment in the field?
I think my proudest moments are just being out there with the community, because I got in such a, such like that run and gun mentality. Like I just wanted to go out and do cool stuff. Well, yeah, that's great and all, but it doesn't really, you respond to things, you know what I mean? Something happened, you responded to it. You're not having an impact on the kids who are going to grow up and either be a criminal or be, so a productive member of society or not. And, the police officers are the most powerful people in society, right? I had the authority to take your freedom away. Okay? I could slap you in handcuffs, charge you based on what I'm saying, and this criminal complaint is true, right? I don't really need evidence.
Yeah.
Until the preliminary hearing, I can arrest you based on my word. So I could take your freedom and I can kill you. And those are two things that I really, really, really took serious. And cops are the most powerful people in the community, and not just in those two aspects, but the impact that you can have on someone's life. I'll give you an example. This just popped in my head.
Huge.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
This just popped in my head. One of my proudest moments, I pulled over this, she was probably like 23-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pulled over this girl, flying up the wrong way on this tiny ass road. I mean, like, tiny little road, flying up the one way. She saw me turn around, so tried to get away.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know where she was going. I ended up pulling over. Long story short, suspended license, no insurance. I think the car's registration was out.
Bad decisions.
She
compounding effect.
Yeah, she was an avid user of heroin. It was so obvious. I mean, strung out, fucking sores everywhere. I could obviously see it. Dealt with thousands of these people. Mm-hmm. So, long story short, I ended up giving her a couple tickets. I didn't tow her car. I let a friend come pick it up. And she was, they all cry. Every time someone gets arrested, they all cry, right? I'm not going to get my license back. I'm trying to go to rehab. I'm trying to do this. I've heard that shit so many times. So I was like, I was very nice. I said, listen, if you can prove to me that you're being honest with me and you're trying to change your life, when it comes time for the preliminary hearing, if you could prove it, I'm going to help you. I'll give you my word. Well, she ended up and it was continued. So I think we had the prelim like 6 months later. Dude, this girl, I didn't even recognize her. She looked like she went to rehab, never touched heroin again, got her license back. So I ended up talking with the judge, and we ended up throwing the citations out because it would end up, suspending her license for a year and all this other shit. That was, and then she, the amount that she thanked me for intervening and arresting her, not giving her a break, but still treating her like a human with respect. I'll never forget that. Never. That was probably one of the proudest moments.
That's awesome, man.
So,
and the ability for you to have the social dynamics to govern in that moment and do what needs to be done, not just what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? Not just be like, nope, by the book, man. You're
that's the problem.
Actually,
that's the problem with
what needed to be done.
Letter of the law and color of the law, or spirit of the law, right?
Yeah.
Just because the law says this doesn't mean that's absolutely what I have to do every single time. And body cams, dash cams, the political pressure, discretion is being taken away from police officers.
Right.
So if that happened right now and I was still a cop, I might not be able to do that because they might look at my video and be like, no, you need to charge her with this and this and this and this and this. You should have towed her car, because again, that's all incentivized to make those arrests and write those tickets. And it's not incentivized to actually give a shit about somebody and help them and treat them like a human. It's just not. It's just the way it is.
Dang, I think we're knocking on something that's something that has got to be. That's important. That's important. That's all I can say, man. It's a complicated, sophisticated issue. It's ultra important. Into our closing questions here. What would you? There's a new one that I threw in. Who would you nominate to come on the show, man? Who do you think would be good to come on here and talk about protection, protectors, these types of issues? You can think about it if no one comes to mind.
Man, when you put someone on blast, you just have a brain fart, right?
Yeah, I know. The other question is your favorite quote or mantra. It's coming up. I'm just warning you. That one gets people stuck too.
Yeah, I don't know if I really have.
The next
well,
one.
I'll give you.
Think about it, and you can DM
one of my favorite. is based on the shirt that I made, Good Men Are Violent, which I'll tell you in a second. Woo! So
you going Jordan Peterson on?
Yeah, my man knows.
Man.
Yes. So I don't know, like Jerry Pidka, Mike Levy, Knockout Lights. Those are two guys I would really like to hear from.
I had Knockout Lights on this last
Kala
season.
I would love to hear from Kala.
Who was the first one you said again? Jerry.
I forget his last name. It's PDKA. Jerry Pidka.
Okay, yeah.
And I think he actually does executive protection too.
He does.
He was an LA cop for a while and then transitioned out and does all kinds of shit.
Yeah, we've done some stuff before, man. We've done some stuff before.
He's a solid dude.
I actually know him. He's a friend.
Yeah. So going back to the quote, I can't really remember it verbatim, but okay. So good men are violent, and when I posted about it, I had questions like, "Oh, well, are you saying that a woman beater is a nice guy?" No. Listen, okay.
Get him.
So Jordan Peterson this was in a couple interviews, and basically what he talked about was weak men and harmless men are not good men, which they are not. If I am out with my family and I don't have the fitness or the skills or the training to keep them safe, I am not a good man. I am not a good man. A harmless,
you're a defenseless man.
You are a defenseless beta male that really needs to reconsider how he's conducting himself.
And what you can do for your family.
Exactly. So to finish that, what he talked about was a good man is a violent man that has it under voluntary control. He's not saying that a violent man, just wild, uncontrolled violence is a great person. No, I am a nice person. Byron is a nice person, right? If we need to, we have the skills and the training and the equipment to pretty much handle whatever, And I know I'm pretty confident that I can keep my family safe and out of danger. And that's what makes a good man. So yes, good men are violent, controlled violence.
I love it, man.
Controlled violence.
Yes. Power without purpose is a problem, man. I love that quote so much. I went and put it in my presentation for the symposium.
Yeah.
I was like, we were talking about protector psychology. I'm like, how good are you if you're
Jordan Peterson is probably one of the best people to live. Dude, if you could figure out how to get Jordan Peterson on,
I'm gonna work on it.
I gotta find out if I know anyone that has ever connected with him or something, because that guy not just his knowledge and his intelligence, the way he can articulate things is just on another planet. It's insane.
Dude, I went through his book, The 12 Laws, I think.
Yeah.
And it was good for me. It started off a little bit like, okay, this is like not deep. Like this is, okay, cool. Confirming things. And then towards the end, it got amazing. And then I was like, that was great. Let me go ahead and check out his other book, Maps of Meaning. This Maps of Meaning book, homie, bro, is so chewy. And I only do audiobooks. Yeah, I'm a grunt in the Marine Corps. I'm not like a schoolboy dude.
Yeah, me too.
Audiobooks in the car. This Maps of Meaning book is so chewy. It's been like 6 months. I'm still not done with the thing. But the information is so rich. Like, I can listen. I've been listening to audiobooks for the better part of a decade. I'm like 300 some odd audiobooks deep. Like I listen to everything on two times speed. So my audio recognition, and I learn. That's my main mode, right? I can only do this book for like 20 minutes without not being able to pay attention or falling asleep because the information is so rich, and he has so many layers to everything he says. And it's like my buddy said, he's like interpreting your subconscious. Yeah. Because he's talking about these archetypes and what it really means on all these deep levels, and you're like, really? And you're like, that's what the color orange really always meant. Our ancestors used to see orange giraffes, and it's like all this stuff's happening, and you're like, wow.
The way that he can articulate things is, I've never seen anyone that can do it. That guy is just beyond
he's one
human.
of the most important speakers. Yeah. He's one of the most important speakers of our time. I posted something about personal responsibility this morning, and it's going to upset everybody. Well, anybody, that's the thing. There's like a war going on. It's like a war going on between people who don't want to take personal responsibility versus people that are like, that's the answer to everything, basically. You know, so I definitely start fights on my page with that. Yeah, man. Little Jordan Peterson break. That's good stuff, dude. That's an awesome quote, man. Habit or kind of a daily thing or ritual you think people should look at implementing into their life that's made you better or you think can make people better?
Food. I would start with how you wake up and start your day. You know, you start it with a good breakfast. You know, start if you're not at the gym or if you are and you're kind of like, you know, plateaued or kind of bored, just figure out, you know, ways to be excited about it. You know, get some, maybe try some boxing, get some jump rope in there. You know, just the more you get into these little habits of like, okay, I wake up, I like to have my egg omelet with my blueberry oatmeal and mangoes and my coffee. If I don't have that breakfast, my day sucks. It doesn't suck, but it does. It just. But it's like off. It just. You know.
It's just not the way you know. Yeah.
My day's not terrible, but it just doesn't feel the same. Like I like to start my day with that. My back always hurts, so I like to stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I like to plan my day out. Okay, today I'm gonna, like stuff for the business. All right, today I want to get 2 logos done, or today I want to, I kind of want to make a list for myself. And it doesn't always go as planned. Sometimes you get busy, sometimes you get lazy, whatever. But try to have things planned out. Like make 4 goals for yourself for the day. Go to the gym, make a logo, make some phone calls, send some emails. Whatever industry or whatever you guys are doing, set those goals for yourself and try to just knock them all off throughout the day. Listen to an audiobook. Literally could be anything. Just I like my breakfast, my exercise during the day, and then I work around that and get all my business stuff done. So
I couldn't agree more, dude. That, and I find my sweet spot is like 3 to 5 of those little bullet points.
Yeah,
it's like 3 to 5 of those little bullet points, and I'm like, I'm gonna white knuckle and get these my little 3 to 5 bullet points done. And once I get that trash done, then like I'm gonna freestyle on all the other projects or whatever, or family or whatever is cool. That's fine. But yeah, man, no, that's really good advice. Just start the day with a goal, and then you get to go to bed with self-respect. You get to go to bed being like, yo, I got my 3 to 5 things done, and I'm good. And you're making progress, which we all know progress equals happiness.
It feels good to accomplish something. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, but like the days where I feel like I didn't really accomplish anything, I don't feel as happy. I don't feel as fulfilled. And then like by the end of the night, I'm like, shit, man, I really could have gotten this done and that done. And I really should have, it's not a good for me, at least. It's not a good feeling when, if you're just like Netflix and chill all day, like that doesn't feel good.
No, you feel like crap, man. It's like not working out. It's like,
it gets you into a really, really lazy mentality is what it does.
Yeah, and you can feel the corrosion kind of happening. Like you can feel it's like, we got to go for a walk. We got to get out of the house and do something halfway through the day. Man, that's been good. We had so many people on this thing that was jamming us up on the actual system. So I got to figure out how we're going to do this thing. It's been good hanging with you guys. Is that one of your shirts right there, bro? That Good Men Are Violent?
That's my shirt, man.
Yo, bro, I'm gonna have to swoop one of these up from you.
I got you.
I gotta send me the link or do whatever the thing is, man. That's gonna be one of my Monday morning, one of my workout shirts. I'll be wearing when I'm talking to everybody, man, for sure. And then what are you doing these days? One of the guys asked if you're still doing community stuff. What are you up to these days, and where can people find you, brother?
I'm always trying to figure out different ways to do like some community outreach. You don't have to be a cop to do stuff with community. I have, I think a box of 200 socks from Soldier Socks. Great company, awesome company. Okay. They sent it to me. It kind of got pushed off because of COVID and everything was closed, but we're gonna give those out at the homeless shelters or families in need.
Okay.
And that's where the networking and building relationships with these companies through social media can help you do some good if you really want to do some good. I have 15 skateboards I have to give away. I'm trying to get Randall Pitch. I don't know if he's the owner of Live Fit Apparel. He lives out in California. I'm trying to get him and a couple other guys here to do some skateboarding stuff. And then I'm trying to get with Rob Bailey and Dana Bailey to have another law enforcement / first responder workout at their gym in Reading, PA that we did 2 years ago. I did it with Tony Sentmanat, which was fucking awesome. It was legit. We had like 200 people there.
Was that how you say his name? I've been calling Tony Sentmanat.
Sentmanat.
He's like, I love the guy. Like, I totally look up to him. He represents for the big dudes.
Bro, he is probably one of the most fucking humble people that you can ever meet. That dude is really, I really like him. And like the way, like his stories, you know, from military to police, like that dude's been involved in pretty much everything. And he's really cool person to hang out with. I like him. So yeah, I try to do a little bit of everything.
I'm trying to get a hold of him.
I try to do a little bit of everything, guys. You don't have to be some big shot on social media. Having a lot of followers doesn't mean anything. You know, you can still do stuff with your community. Find shelters, find organizations to get involved in, especially human trafficking organizations, which a lot of people don't even want to talk about. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. A lot. So,
yes.
All right.
There really is. There seems to be more and more stuff in the realm of human trafficking now.
Yo, I don't know what it is. I don't know what the trend is right now for people to be blasting out there about human trafficking, but this is a trend I can get behind. I love it. Instead of all these stupid
I'm like, finally something I can like, right?
Exactly. Like, okay, all these dance challenges and all this stupid shit. Like, this is a trend I can get behind. Posting about, you know, 1 million kids a year going missing and 30-40 million people currently fucking enslaved in sex trafficking, in hard labor, like
right now
in 2020. In 2020.
Like right now, they're in
right now. There are tens of millions of slaves right now. And people are, you know, oh, let me do this dance challenge. Like, first of all, I can't dance for shit, so I'm not even gonna try. You know, but like I'm white, man. I can't dance for shit. But like all these different challenges and like, you know, it's amazing that people just jump on it. It's posted millions and millions of times, and then the things the things that blow up are like, oh, I'm offended at this statue. I don't like this statue, and like, I think we're being forced by politicians and the media to be distracted about things and to like hyper focus on, oh, look at this. Like, oh, this is bad. Cops are bad. They're evil and racist killers. They just go to work and try to kill black men. And, oh, these statues, got to take them all down. They're distracting you from all the other things that are going on.
Mask.
Yeah. Make sure you wear your mask.
And then wear your mask, right?
Yeah, I totally do.
You're gonna have to make me do it. And then when I was talking to some guys that are big in the human trafficking game the other day, and there have been, it's like 70 to 80 politicians have been arrested over the course of this year, indicted and arrested over this sex trafficking thing. It's real, son. Like, I'm going to have some guys on the podcast to talk about it, but it's not just some conspiracy stuff.
How often do you hear about it from mainstream media?
Zero. They're only bugging us about wearing masks.
There have been Democratic mayors, there have been celebrities and other politicians arrested for human trafficking, sex trafficking, having sex with fucking kids. Kids. There's very few things that like make my blood boil, but that's one of them that just makes me really, really angry. We're talking about like the one, like we can disagree on just about anything you can imagine. The one thing that we should all agree on is protecting our kids. Period. And we don't. Kids. People can't even agree on that.
Period, yeah.
There should be no discussion. Protect kids at all costs and raise them to be better than we are right now. That's it. And we're doing a shitty job at it.
Let's see here. Hey, guys. Greetings from Chile. Yo, what's up? Danilo, good to see you, man. We had a pretty far-reaching group of people on here, man. The system can barely handle it, actually. Let's see here. Thank you, Mike. Great topics. Daniel, thanks you guys. Let's see if Mike can get back on here one more time, man. Great meeting. You guys have any more questions for me before we leave? Someone was saying they wanted me to mentor them. I'm saying, dude, join the Executive Protection Training Day Success Package and the league. And once you get into the league, every single week I show up, I do Q&As like this, and honestly, it's the best way for me to mentor the largest number of people, and that's why I set the structure up that way. So if you're looking to get into private security, learn how to get into private security, learn how to market yourself, and all that stuff, that's to answer that specific question. I built that exact mechanism to do that exact thing. And it's an amazing, it's more than just a training. It's way more than just training. It's literally a group. It's literally, you do your career with other professionals that are also doing their careers. Thanks, Mike, for throwing it up there, man. And then I do my career with you as your consultant as you go through your career, and then obviously as I have opportunities, that's where they come from. And then I also market you guys to the industry. I market our private security executive protection specialists to the industry. On the back side of my website, you get a profile and all that stuff. So you get follow-on training, and then you get marketed to the industry as well. So that's why I say that the success package I put together will do more for you than any other training you can spend money on, because usually you get training on how to do executive protection, and then you get left alone. After that week, it's over. With our group, you get follow-on training that continues forever, and then I market you to the industry. So it never ends, actually. Let's see here. Won't let me back in. You can follow me. Yo, I guess Mike's locked out, man. We've got his IG links on the side here. Ink-Monsterr and Goon_Squad.Tactical. So Ink_Monsterr. Monster with 2 R's. And then his second page is Goon_Squad.Tactical. And his website, I'll make sure and repost this right here. Boom, boom. That's from him. Let's see. I am part of the EP12 training program, and I can say that it has been a great decision and of my life, and invest in yourself, essentially. Greatest decision of my life, and invest in yourself. Thanks, Garrett. I appreciate you, brother. I'm looking forward to our next training for sure. But yeah, man, Mike, it's too bad he can't come back in here. It would have been great to say bye to him. We got all the questions. But hey, thank you so much, you guys, for spending this time with me. Thanks so much, you guys, for for hanging out. It's I can't get time back. So hope I gave you guys enough value, and I look forward to everything else we're doing. Look out for the Protector Nation that we're going to be rolling out here soon. It's going to be civilian-centric, long-form content. It's going to be designed to make good people more dangerous. And yeah, man, there's just so many good things coming. Thanks so much once again. And this has been a fun live podcast recording. We're going to do more like this. All right, you guys. And if you want to get into the executive protection industry, or if you're in the industry, boom, take advantage of that deal on the side of the screen. It won't be up there for much longer. So, all right, you guys, I hope to see you guys out there in the social media sphere, in the digital world, or in the class. Take care. Talk soon. God bless. And Semper Fi. Out. Boom. Boom. Yo, what up? I hope you guys really enjoyed that episode. Hey, listen, in order to get more out of the brand, I want to encourage you to go join us on our social media platforms and join us at protectornation.com. We post different types of content on our different platforms at different times. You'll get blog posts, you'll get videos, you'll get real world combat engagements and things like that. So stay plugged in order to get the most out of the brand. In order to support us, also go to protectornation.com and buy something, or join forces with me on Patreon. You'll scroll down the homepage and you'll see the link. Anything you can give counts. Think about whatever you would lose in your cushions, or like spend on McDonald's this month, $5 a month, whatever it is. That helps us make the world a better place by making good people dangerous. Anyways, this is Byron Rodgers, protector by nature and by trade, and I'll see you on the next piece of content, whether it's a video or podcast. Out.